Our guest tonight is Dr. Denis Mukwege, Nobel Peace Prize, doctor, surgeon, gynecologist, founder and director of Panzi Hospital in Bukavu. Thank you so much for being with us on this set. Your word is rare on TV sets. Thank you very much for coming to answer our questions. First, your reaction to this report.
The crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo is extremely critical. Today, we can say without risk of being contradicted that there is danger in demerging it. The Congolese nation is in danger. And I think that through four situations I want to present it to you. First, it is the humanitarian crisis and the unprecedented security crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo for 25 years. More than 6 million people have died in these crises. And that's the deadliest conflict since World War II. Today there are more than 5 million people who are internally displaced. And according to the United Nations report, a third of the Congolese population is hungry, which represents about 30 million people without protection and who have no food. Not to mention all the women victims of sexual violence. That's the first point. The second point, we are facing an existential crisis, where the risks of balkanization are present. There are more than 120 armed groups in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. State authority is not present in most of these places. So the massacres are carried out on a daily basis, and today, instead of organizing an army to protect the population, we are outsourcing security in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which leads to an over-militarization of this zone where we have the United Nations, the SADC countries. We have agreements with countries in the region. And in fact, despite this over-militarization, civilians continue to be slaughtered, beheaded, in this area. The third thing to remember is that this conflict is quite an economic war in a kind of organized chaos, where in fact the natural resources, the strategic mines of the Democratic Republic of Congo will simply meet the needs of the global economy, and especially for the energy transition, while the Congolese population is left almost in extreme poverty. The fourth is the crisis we are experiencing today in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They are repeated assaults. For 25 years the Congo has been attacked on a regular basis by Rwanda and Uganda, with human rights violations, almost daily. And here I believe that what just happened in Kishish, the testimonies we have just learned, it is simply a repetition. This had already happened in Katagota, where the Rwandan army had been intercepted by local militiamen, and the consequence was to raze the village. It happened in Kasika. And so I think that as long as there is no international justice to put things in order, the blood of Congolese continues to flow, and it is time to stop this infernal circle.
I just remind you in passing that Rwanda denies supporting the M23, and that a UN report established that the M23, the militia currently active in eastern DRC, is accused of this massacre of Kishish by a UN report. Another question, Dr. Mukwege. You have been campaigning for many years against impunity for crimes committed in eastern DRC. Why 12 years after the mapping report nothing changes?
Indeed, the crisis in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is ranked among the forgotten crises, and as the first neglected international crisis. And when the Norwegian Refugee Council made its lists, it considered 3 of the 3 elements. The first element is the absence of international diplomatic mobilization. Second element, the absence of humanitarian aid and the absence of media mobilization. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, today, there is no international diplomacy. Everything that is happening in the Democratic Republic of the Congo should already have led to sanctions. There are legal tools and they exist. There is Resolution 2641. The much-in-a-scroll resolution. This resolution exists and makes it clear that any country or organization that can support armed groups in the Great Lakes region should be sanctioned. Where are these sanctions? Why do we have resolutions? Why do we have international law that we cannot apply when it comes to the Democratic Republic of Congo? And this is contrary to what we can see in Ukraine, for example.
In fact, there is already talk of the creation of a special tribunal for Ukraine, as was the case for the former Yugoslavia. Why not ask a tribunal for crimes committed in the Democratic Republic of Congo? And this is what was done, I think last week, by the Congolese minister who was in The Hague, Rose Mutombo, who went to ask for the creation of this special court. Are you in favor of this special court to punish crimes committed in DRC?
We had congratulated the action of Rose Mutombo. This is the first time our government has taken the initiative. We have been advocating for 10 years that, in fact, there should be transitional justice in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But I think it is absolutely necessary to preserve the evidence because when you have this criminal court, there must absolutely be evidence. Today what we demand is that there be an estimate of mass graves, that forensic evidence be preserved. Otherwise, we will have a court. But if the evidence does not exist, it will lead to a dismissal. And for the victims, it will be a second suffering. We absolutely want there to be an international criminal tribunal for the Congo. Today there are United Nations forensic teams on the ground. We need to start exhuming mass graves and trying to collect forensic evidence, which will in fact allow justice to build on what happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
There are still many topics discussed. Unfortunately, we don't have more time than that. A very important question. Tomorrow, the Africa Summit opens in the United States, in Washington. Do you have a message for the United States?
Africa must not exist only in relation to its wealth and minerals. Today, we know that it is Africa's minerals that carry the solution to climate change and new technologies. And that's a good thing. But Africa must not only count in relation to its wealth. It is essential that at such a summit, the issue of security in Africa be raised. We have minerals, we want to trade with other countries, but it has to be win-win trade. And I think that what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where in fact the population is paying dearly for all this wealth, this rare earth that we have in the Democratic Republic of Congo, it is absolutely necessary that in summits like this, these issues be addressed. The blood of the Congolese has been shed too much. They need justice, the truth. They need reparation and the absence of non-repetition of all these crimes that have already lasted more than 25 years.
So, last question, do you have a message today to the Congolese who are watching us?
It is very clear today that we are abandoned by everyone. And I think that the message that I address to the Congolese, we must be able to take our destiny in hand. The riches we have, instead of bringing us happiness, everyone wants to have their piece of the pie. And unfortunately, in a brutal way with atrocities. I think that today it is absolutely necessary that all Congolese understand that we are the only ones who can take our destiny in hand.
Thank you very much, Denis Mukwege. Thank you very much for answering our questions. We will continue to talk about the Democratic Republic of the Congo in our newspapers. Thank you for accepting our invitation in the Journal de l'Afrique.
Welcome, madam. Thank you.